We're back to rough winter weather, and some people in the valley are feeling it more than others. Power lines in Warren, Minnesota took a beating overnight and knocked out power to more than 250 customers in Ada, Felton, and Vorup, Minnesota. There's probably a big mess as well in your driveway because of that April storm that slammed the region. The Valley Today's Abby Furchner is giving us a look at the trouble outside, because hopefully everyone is going to stay inside today. Good morning, Abby.
Good morning, Lisa. This is definitely not the spring weather we were all hoping for. We're in a neighborhood just off of Veterans Boulevard on the Fargo side. And as you can see, people are waking up and they're not waiting around. They're not hesitating to start going out into their driveways and get that snow blower running. But this is what a lot of the neighborhoods are looking like. They are full of snow on the roads and, of course, in front of those driveways, like I just mentioned. As you can see, there is so many that just have those huge drifts and mounds in front of them. And this is what I like to call snowball making snow. It is that heavy, wet, compact snow that is hard to move on your own. So when you are shoveling or snow blowing, make sure that you're taking breaks and giving yourself enough time. But two, apartment complexes, a lot of the entryways have been blocked in and a lot of plows have not been there quite yet. So you might be struggling just to get in and out of your apartment right now. So you just want to be careful and cautious about that. But even Fargo Police is saying, hey, if you're looking at that snow mound, you're looking at that drift saying, hey, I think I can make that. You probably can't. So it's best today just to stay inside, have a nice weekend indoors, spending time with family, and just avoid all the snow. Just hold off until it melts.
That is great advice this morning. Abby Furchner reporting live. My husband had to drive me in because I couldn't get out of my neighborhood either, even though I think West Fargo's not doing a bad job of getting the roads cleared, but you're right. You're going to see a mess out there.
When we were over by the Cedars apartment complex, we actually saw a couple people walking from the apartment and into a car. So they must be getting picked up because you just couldn't even get in there. There was mounds just covering the entrance. So I'm not surprised that we're having to get help going into the station today.
Thank you so much, Abby. Stay warm out there. And we have some breaking news just into the newsroom. We talked about a power outage. We're hearing now Otter Tail Power has about 700 customers without power this morning in the Crookston and Red Lake Falls area. So another power outage. Be sure to stay with the Valley Today and, of course, use your VNL News app to get the very latest. And we want to check in now with our First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Lisa Green to see just how much snow everyone got.
Yeah, more updates rolling in this morning. We've got a new one for you. Carlstadt up to that 10-inch range that we were predicting yesterday, and we're there now. And Grand Forks at the National Weather Service office, an official report at the moment at 9.7 inches, and a little bit less than that over in Hunter at 8 inches of snow. Fargo, we've had about 7.5 inches. I know a couple of reports have come in higher than that and some lower than that, but this is kind of an average here. Same thing in Mayville and other places picking up that 5+ inch range. So really adding up the totals. We'll show you that DOT map coming up here in just a minute, but we are looking at some conditions that are looking really tough on the roads, not only in town as Abby was showing, but also out in the country too. We've got a lot of snow and ice covered roads. So just stay off them today if you can. It will get a little bit better as crews get them cleaned up. Sunshine this afternoon might help a little too to melt some of those icy patches, but overall it's going to be a hazardous throughout the day today. And we're adding more snow to it. You can see that line of snow showers coming up for us in eastern North Dakota, and that's moving toward places like Grand Forks and Fargo, some of our larger population areas, but out in places like Mackville, over to Northwood right now, and into the Hope area and the Cooperstown area. We've been seeing that snow down toward Valley City as well. Zooming in a little bit more, you can see it's approaching places like Amaretto right now in Grand Forks County, and this is all rolling eastward. So another round of this just in time for some of us who may need to head out here this morning. So this is heading our way next half hour to an hour or so. Out to the west, you can see the clearing that's happening. So we're looking at some improving conditions there. Here's a look at our wind speeds out of the northwest. We've got some gusts getting into the 30s still. So some of those ice covered power lines still under threat for some of those galloping lines that we've been seeing. And checking out your latest alerts, a winter storm warning remains in effect through the morning hours for most of the valley. That will be ending as we head into the afternoon and tonight, depending on where you are. We'll see that start to wind down. And I do want to show you here the North Dakota DOT map just to show you how tough those road conditions are everywhere in eastern North Dakota. We're either reporting snow-covered roads in purple or icy roads in yellow, and of course no travel advised here for parts of the valley from the border here. And now it looks like just north of Fargo, but still reporting some ice in the FM Metro. And speaking of, we do want to check in with Devin Fry on road conditions in the Fargo-Moorhead area with the Valley Today's Traffic on the Move.
Thanks, Lisa. I do have a little bit of good news to start off with. It looks like the road conditions on the interstates have been picking up a little bit since this morning. They've been clearing up a little bit, I should say. Since the traffic flow has picked up just a slight amount, it has helped these roadways a little bit. They're definitely still slick, and there are some sloppy areas, but overall, they're better than they were even just an hour ago. So good news as you make your way onto the interstates. However, you're still going to want to approach them with caution. Now, overall, we've seen a ton of hazards on the roadways this morning. Pretty much everywhere we go is snow covered or ice covered or both. There are some areas where the snow drifts are too high to even turn onto a street. There are times where people have had to stop in the middle of a road to kind of see whether or not they can turn onto their go through the snowdrift without bottoming out their car. So there are some areas where the snowdrifts are too high to even turn onto a side road. So those are going to be the main things to watch out for. Everywhere has a little layer of snow with a layer of ice underneath it. So you're going to want to give yourself plenty of extra time as you make your way out the door. Oh, and if you put away those ice scrapers because, you know, it's April, you might want to go ahead and break those out. It's going to take a while to clear off your car this morning. We're going to keep checking out the roadways in the next hour on the Fargo CW, but for now, for your traffic on the move, I'm Devin Fry.
It's now 3 minutes before 7. It was a scary drive for one driver in Moorhead last night when their car stalled on a railroad crossing and then started on fire. Moorhead firefighters put out the fire and pushed the car off the tracks at 8th Street and 1st Avenue North. Luckily, no one was hurt. There's no word yet on what started the fire or caused the vehicle to stall. North Dakota health officials are confident the state will have enough hospital beds and equipment for the COVID-19 surge, but doctors and nurses may need to come out of retirement if field hospitals are needed in Fargo and Bismarck. The health department says there are 2,400 beds available by using existing facilities, and 4,000 more could be added by setting up temporary hospitals. They've stockpiled emergency supplies over the years, so there appears to be enough ventilators and protective gear for workers. There's some troubling new research that suggests the coronavirus can spread through just talking and even breathing. The news came in a letter to the White House from the National Academy of Sciences. All this is pushing the White House task force closer to recommending the general public wear masks when not in their homes, which we should hear about later today. The owner of a bar and restaurant in Bottineau County in western North Dakota is in the middle of a legal battle with the state for violating the governor's order to close in-house operations. 64-year-old David Corum runs Gunslinger Grill in Willow City. He's charged with 5 counts of violating the governor's proclamation. Corum says he posted a sign last week indicating he no longer was licensed and that people who were in the bar attended by invitation only and could offer donations if they wished. He says the order to shut down is nonsense. The U.S. Treasury Department says it will start mailing stimulus checks to individual taxpayers next Thursday, April 9th. The Secretary, Steven Mnuchin, says the payments will first be sent to people with the lowest incomes. The IRS expects to send out about $5 million a week, a process that could take several months to complete. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Today's question: if you're over 40, there's a 30% chance you had this. What are we talking about? A perm, maybe even just having your bangs permed. Remember those good old days? We want to take a little time here to pledge to you that we're working hard to make sure you're staying informed during this COVID-19 pandemic. There are several ways you can do it, including valleynewslive.com, our VNL News app, and on our Valley News Live Facebook page. Continue with us here on the Fargo CW. The Valley Today rolls on.